In Tibet, there are specialized people who either a High Lama bless their bodies, or they themselves have strong affinity, and they can take trance of higher level protectors. So either they have very strong affinity and no one needs to do anything to them and they just spontaneously can take trance, or some High Lama bless them and their body becomes very clear. It takes about 4 to 5 years of training, and then once you have 4 to 5 years of training and your body is cleared, because in our body, just like in Chinese medicine, where you believe in the qis and you put acupuncture points to clear the block points, in Tibetan Buddhism you believe the same thing. You use meditation to clear the block points. So in Chinese you use needles, in Tibetan Buddhism you use the mind. You use the force of the mind to clear the blockages. So very highly attained lamas, very, very highly attained lamas, they can control their sickness. That means they can become sick, or they can reverse their sickness, or they can control their death, or they can reverse the time of their death. Those are very highly realized lamas. But when you make a disease manifest, it can come to a point where it cannot be reversed, because the body can only be controlled to a certain timing, because the body is of this world. So for example, if you hit the table, if you keep hitting the table, there's a point where you can repair it. But there's a point where you hit it, completely break, cannot repair it. So similarly, High Lamas can control their bodies, very High Lamas, through meditation. Just like Kung Fu masters, or just like Tai Chi masters, just like those masters who control Qi, they can actually control their body, or they can make it very strong, even if you put a knife, cannot penetrate. This is not magical. This is controlling the body's elements. So in ancient China, they have that ability. So in Tibet, they use the meditation instead of on exercise and fitness of the body and looking good and living long. They use it for a higher purpose. They use it for controlling the mind, making the mind have control of itself. So these High Lamas, they can create people who clear the channels completely. And when they clear the channels completely, the channels are very clean. Why? People drink alcohol. People eat eggs. People eat meat. People eat garlic. Those are not, you don't say those are negative karma or they're bad. Don't say it that way, because it's very small thinking. Those foods in themselves are pollutants. Because meat is killed. Meat is slaughtered. Meat is tortured. So when the animal dies in fear and unhappiness. The animal dies in a lot of pain. And before the animal dies, the animal knows it's going to die. So it's in a lot of pain. That pain releases a lot of chemicals into the body that stays in the meat. And when you eat it over time, it's extremely unhealthy. Some people say, oh, we can't eat meat. If we don't eat meat, our bodies won't be strong. But that's not true. Because if you look at ancient China, there are thousands and thousands of years of vegetarianism. In India, there are thousands of years of vegetarianism. But people are vegetarian for generations. Nothing wrong with their body. So people say, oh, my body won't be healthy because of meat. That's misinformation. So what happens is when you clear the channels, when you clear it through meditation, when you clear the channels, all the pollutants of the body is completely clear. As a side effect, your mind becomes very clear. What is clarity of the mind? Good memory, quick thinking, alertness. Your mind is extremely sharp. Your mind is very bright, and your mind has good memory. Those are signs of a clear mind. So in Buddhism, instead of always praying to an outer deity, always praying to an outer God or an outer spirit or outer force, there are outer forces. We believe in outer forces. We believe that there are higher beings. But you see, those higher beings cannot change our mind, change our body. Those higher beings. But those higher beings can teach you how to change your mind and change your body. So when they teach you, oh, if you eat meat, it has this kind of harm, this kind of harm. It's not condemning or scolding you. It is for your health. So it's not a condemnation. It's not like, oh, you're bad. You're going to go to a bad place. Oh, you're evil. It's not that. People who don't know, they use that as a condemnation, but it's not actually harmful. Especially in the modern day now, all the things they do to animals, all the chemicals they pump in, all the coloring, all the pesticides that they eat with their foods, all the incredible amount of steroids they pump in, all those come to us. They go into the animal, they torture them. The animal live a short, horrible life, and then the animals themselves are slaughtered in fear, kept in captivity, beaten, tortured, sliced, plucked, broken, thrown, and then we kill them, and then we say, oh, look, wow. And then we eat it. And some people even offer these animals in Cheng Meng time. So if a dead ancestor or a spirit likes animals, it shows their nature is not very high level. What spirit or what God would want dead flesh? Why would you offer dead flesh? Why would you torture an animal, hurt the animal, kill the animal, pluck it, make it, and then cook it, and put flowers, and put nuts, and put all decoration, and offer it to a God? What kind of God wants dead flesh? A real God doesn't want anything. Whatever God you want to call it. So in Buddhism, we have so much kinds of meditations, and we have so much types of philosophies and meditations taught by Buddha to transform the mind, to change the mind, to make the mind a better person, to make that mind a better person in society, to make a better man, a better woman, a better mother, a better father, a better sister, a better brother, a better doctor, a better leader, a better child, a better student. Because why is that? Everything comes from the mind. If praying to a God made you better, then everybody who prayed should be very, very holy. I'm not holy. So everybody who prayed in every religion should be very holy, should be perfect one. So since people who pray are the same as people who don't pray, why pray? Because there are people who pray for real, and there are people who pray without knowing the meaning. Praying is not bad. Praying is not negative at all. Whatever religion you believe in, whatever religion you believe in, there are good people in every religion. There are very bad people in every religion. So what's the point of religion? The point of religion is it is one method to make our mind better. So maybe in the future people don't need religion. Maybe they find other ways to make their mind better. Because religion's been around for a few thousand years. It worked for some people, it didn't work for other people. It's just like everything else in life. Some things work, some things don't work. If it doesn't work for you, doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it doesn't work for you. So what's very important is that we don't criticize other people's religions. We don't put other people's religion down. Just like we don't put down their race, we don't put down their culture, we don't put down their features, we don't put down who they are. We don't put down their religion, because that's a part of who they are. So this is very important in Buddhism. In Buddhism, we are taught by my teachers in the greatest monasteries in the world never to insult another person's religion. Never tell your religion is better than theirs. Never convert another person. If another person is interested in Buddhism, you teach them, you share with them, you help them. If they're interested, they do it. If they're not interested, never mind. But you don't say, my religion is the best, yours is not good, mine is the only way. If you don't follow my way, you're going to go to hell and create wars and kill people and harm people. Why is that? Because religion is meant to bring people together, not separate. So anyone who's a Buddhist who separates people using Buddhism, they're not a real Buddhist. Any Christian that says, my religion is the best, Jesus is the only way, everybody else is wrong, they're not a real Christian. Impossible. Because let's make it simple. If you believe in God, God created all of us. God created the devil. The devil creates all the problems. So we have to fight the devil. We have to pray to God to fight the devil. But I have a very simple solution. Why doesn't God just get rid of the devil? He got rid of Sodom and Gomorrah. He got rid of people 40 days and 40 nights of rain in the Noah's Ark. God was known to destroy the people who escaped from Egypt who wouldn't follow the Ten Commandments. I mean, God's famous for destroying. So very simple. Destroy the devil, then no more problem, isn't it? So why keep the devil there and punish the people who follow him? It doesn't make sense to me. So in Buddhism, same thing. You believe in karma. You believe in the Buddha, you believe in prayer and meditation, but you're not kind. You're sneaky. You're not compassionate. You don't care about animals. You don't care about the environment. You don't care about other people. What kind of Buddhist are you? These kind of Buddhists, these type of Christians, they destroy their own religion because they show people how bad religion is. No religion is bad, but they are bad representatives. If I have a Malaysian who goes to America, kill people, rape people, torture people, they say Malaysia's bad one. That person is a bad representative of Malaysia. Malaysia is not bad, but people will think Malaysia is bad because of that. So similarly, if you're a Christian, you should say, hey, you're a Buddhist, you're a Hindu, you're a Muslim, you're a Catholic, you're a Zen. That's beautiful. You should practice your religion well. As a Buddhist, I should say the same thing. So in Buddhism, what's very important, taught by us, by the Buddha, is don't look, yewa macheva. Yewa macheva means don't separate people based on their color, their race, their economic status, the caste system, low, high. This person is very poor, a lorry driver. This one's a big executive. I show him better and I show him not so good. Buddhism teaches us not to do that. Because one day we can be the lorry driver, one day we can be the CEO, next time can be switch around. So if we treat everybody equally, we don't create the karma to become that. So in Tibet we are taught never to criticize, in Tibetan Buddhism, you're taught never to criticize other people's religion, other people's culture, other people's race, and to respect other people and their religion. That is why, if you look carefully, in the history of Buddhism, 2,500 years old, there's not one war in the name of Buddhism. Not one. You have Buddhists that say, oh, I'm fighting in the name of Buddha, but that's not Buddhism, that's them. But in the name of Buddhism, all the Buddhists get together, they fight a war, they kill, they destroy, not one. Buddhism is the only religion that it doesn't ever advocate murder or killing and destroying others. Never in the name of Buddhism you'll have a group of people get together and systematically destroy another religion. Destroy their temples. You will not have that in Buddhism. In the history of Buddhism, Buddhism is very peaceful, it's very accepting. Where Buddhism is, people are more accepting. People are more tolerant because that's what we are taught by the Buddha. Why is that important? Because if we're more peaceful and tolerant, we have to live together with other people, other religions, other races. We have to. We cannot get rid of the Christians. We cannot get rid of the Catholics. We cannot get rid of the Buddhists. They're here to stay. We're not going to change their mind. They're not going to change our mind. I'm not going to say Catholic is bad. Catholics can tell me Buddhist is bad. We cannot convince each other. So what we need to do is convince each other of the equality and peace and happiness with each other. And respect. Stop trying to convince other people your religion is better. Stop trying to convince other people your race is better. Stop trying to convince people your culture is better. Try to convince everybody all religion is the same. All race is the same. All people is the same. That's what we should try to convince other people. If we do that, it is good in the secular world. It is good in the Buddhist world. That's what Buddha teaches us. So that is why Buddhism can be both secular and spiritual. That's why people say Buddhism is a way of life. It's not a religion. Wrong. Buddhism is a religion. It has every hallmark of a religion. It has a savior. It has ways to relieve yourself from suffering. It has heaven and hells. It has every characteristic of a religion. So the beautiful part about Buddhism is that because it's such a peaceful, accepting, and tolerant religion, if you take the tenets out and you apply it anywhere in the world, in a secular world, without Buddha, it's applicable. Why? Compassion, tolerance, aware of environment, compassion to animals. Everybody can accept these points. You don't have to be a Buddhist to accept these points, but these points are the core of Buddhism. That is why in European and Western countries, Buddhism is the fastest growing religion in their countries, the fastest. Why is that? Because people want to be aware of the environment. They want to be aware of animals. They want to be aware of each other and equality. 100 years ago, putting black people down was correct. Putting people of color down was correct. Slavery was correct. Women cannot vote. Black people cannot vote. In America, 100 years ago, there's a water fountain. This one's for black people, the higher water fountain for white people. In America, 100 years ago, 60 years ago, if a black person is sitting on the bus, a white person comes on, the black person has to get up and give the seat. This is from where I grew up. This is what we studied in school. Now no more. Now people say people are the same, which is the truth. And that's what Buddhism has been saying for 2,500 years. So therefore, Buddhism can be secular and spiritual. Both. Because the philosophy it teaches espouses tolerance, compassion, acceptance, kindness, awareness, and most important, to have the awareness of the environment around us, the needs of other people. You see, God is not the problem. The devil is not the problem. The problem in the world that creates unhappiness is selfishness. Selfishness is the problem. What's even more powerful than a so-called devil, if he exists, is selfishness. Selfishness is more powerful than the devil. Even a God cannot destroy human selfishness, human greed. But if we meditate on what the Buddha said, that can destroy selfishness. Because the Buddha systematically points out to us what is beneficial and not beneficial. If we're selfish, why is it not beneficial? If we're selfish, why is it not beneficial for the environment? Why is it not beneficial for our family? Why is it not beneficial for society? Why is it not beneficial for our country? Why is it not beneficial to be selfish for a leader? Why is it not beneficial if we're selfish if we are a mother or a sister or a brother? So when we think about that and we meditate why it's not good to be selfish, then the mind starts to change. When the mind starts to change and it's less and less and less and less and less and less selfish, that's the goal of a Buddhist. This is more important to their society. So that's why Buddhist principles are used in New Age, are used in Western religions. They extract it into New Age religions. Why is that? Because the philosophy is about tolerance and peace. It's not about if you accept a God, if you accept a Savior, you are saved, but you don't have to change. I don't think so. If you're selfish, if you're not nice, if you kill, if you're hurting people, and you accept the Savior, and the Savior will help you just because you accept, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. So what's important is Buddhism is, yes, the temples are beautiful, the statues are beautiful, the monks are beautiful, the nuns are fabulous. You know, we have beautiful ancient culture. If you go to Tibet, there are thousands of temples. All that is very nice. But what is that for? That is all visuals to remind us to transform. And remember, how much we transform is how much we will affect our children. Because they're watching us every day. You say, oh, I have time. No, they're growing up very fast. Think when you were younger, the things your mother and father said that affected you, the way they behaved. For example, I'm extremely sensitive to the pain of animals, to the pain of how animals are treated, and how they're hurt or left in the cold because of my parents. My parents were not nice to animals. My parents would buy horses back, slaughter them inside in our yard, cut them up, eat it, share with the neighborhood. I would go with them to buy the horses. Of course, I didn't know I was a child. They would bring the horses back. And then where we store our cars, they put the horse inside. Later, I go inside the garage, and it's full of blood, seaweed. The walls are filled with blood. The horse is gone. And I said, where's the horse? What happened? Oh, nothing. They would buy sheep and bring it back and kill it. My dog, they would tie it up. They would not wash it, keep it safe. They would give it very bad foods. It'd be freezing in the snow. And when the dog didn't behave, my own mother would call the dog pound and take the dog away and have it killed. I used to watch this as a child. No control. So that made me, you can be two ways. You can grow up and say, okay, let's be the same thing. Who cares? Animals are nothing. Or you can grow up and be sensitive. Can you imagine watching your mother call the dog pound, and then they come and they take your dog away because it didn't behave and she's not happy. Because the dog didn't behave. Oh, the dog's supposed to behave. So that gets taken away in front of you to the dog pound. You never ever see your dog again. You see its face in the window being taken away. And you know what happens? It gets destroyed. My own dog. So my parents' cruelty, they weren't cruel for everything, but they were cruel to animals. Really, really affected me very deeply. So this is the core of why I'm very kind to animals. I feed animals. I take care of animals. Because I saw my dog crying. I saw my dog yelping. I saw him tearing. I saw him screaming. And I couldn't help him. So this moved me very much. Because I used to look at myself and say, why am I so sensitive to animal pain? For example, some women, some children are abused. When they grow up, they're highly sensitized to other abusive children because they know how it feels. Some women are battered women. So when they hear about other battered women, they are very sensitive because they know how it feels. So for me, I was thinking, why am I so sensitive to animals? Why? And I thought about it very deeply. I thought, it was because of the way I saw how animals were treated when I was growing up by my own parents. My parents were not cruel for everything. They were not generally cruel people. But they have a view of animals that animals are just animals. And the funny thing is my parents are Buddhist. But they're Buddhists that don't practice Buddhism deeply, just Sunday Buddhists. Just attend Sunday and pray and that's it. So my sensitivity toward animals come from that. And then how our environment affects the animals, how our environment pollutes, makes the animals suffer, get poisoned, get killed. They have no control. That makes me very sensitive to environmental issues. That's why on tweets, on Facebook, I often tweet about environmental issues or retweet other issues. I tweet about animal issues, animal torture. I talk about puppy farms. Anything you talk about animal issues on tweets, I'll tweet quite a lot. I've been tweeting for years about that. Quite. And, some people send me a tweet and say, would you stop tweeting about this? We don't want to see it. They don't follow me. I don't mean to be rude, but, there are people who write, thank you so much for speaking up. And then I tweet often about animals and environment because that's what I'm sensitive about. Because I saw how my dog suffered. I saw how my dog cried for me. But I was a little boy and I had no control. I saw how my little dog's face was in the window of the truck they came and they took him away. And that really, really, it affected me very badly. And I will never be cruel to animals because you can see they're crying. They're in pain. They want what we want. Love, happiness. So I'm sensitive towards that. And then being a Buddhist makes me extra sensitive because in Buddhism, you're taught, do not hurt people directly and indirectly. Directly means intention, with intention. Indirectly means due to your laziness, due to your selfishness. You don't do something you're supposed to do. As a result, they suffer. Some people say, I didn't do anything. Exactly, because you didn't do anything, they suffer. Exactly. People like to say that. People like to say, oh, I don't mean to hurt anyone. I didn't do anything. I did nothing. I say, exactly, you did nothing. So, in Buddhism, you're taught not to hurt intentionally and unintentionally. Unintentionally means through selfishness, through lack of awareness, not caring. So, that's why I tweet about a lot of things that create awareness in people. So, when people are aware, maybe the harm becomes less. People might say, well, you're fighting a world that's not going to change. Probably. But I can fight the world around me. Maybe I can't affect the whole world because I'm not a very famous person. But I can affect the world around me. If I can affect 2, 3, 400 people, 1,000, 2,000 people, that's better than going to my grave affecting nobody and just saying, oh, I don't care, just eat. It's better to affect 200 people than no persons. Why is that? It's very simple. When you have that kind of attitude that cares, one way or another, difficulties are easier to bear. When you have an attitude of not caring, who cares? The difficulties are more depressing. more suffering, more problems. People think when you don't care, you suffer less. When you don't care, you're suffering every minute. Why is it you're suffering when you don't care? Why is it you're suffering when you don't care? Because you've made a wall that feels nothing. How can someone be happy when you feel nothing? So therefore, not caring, you suffer more than caring. People think if you care, you suffer more. It looks like that, because you have to do more. Then you have to have a guilty conscience. Actually, if you have a guilty conscience and it makes you do something, it's a good measuring stick. It's like a meter on a car. How much gas you have left. How much gas you have left. How much petrol you have left. Right? So, how much guilt you have that makes you do things is a meter on your car to tell you how much humanity you have left. If you have no guilt, you don't care, it's almost near E. Empty of humanity. If it's more toward middle or full, then you have more humanity. So, as a Buddhist, as a free thinker, whatever religion you are, or no religion, we all need this care. So, I'm religious, you're not religious, you're Christian, you're a free thinker, fine. But we all still need care. We all still need love, compassion, tolerance, acceptance, help. All of us at one time or another, including myself, have been very down. Emotionally down. We need other people's care. We need other people's compassion. We need other people's love. We need other people's support. For example, recently, when I was younger, I was a homeless person for a very short while. People cared. People helped. People gave food. I remember that. I remember how hungry I was. And because I was so hungry, when I grew older, I was able to start giving food to the poor. So when I came to Malaysia, I started giving food to the poor. I used to take a group of friends. We just buy 15, 20 packets of food. We go all over KL. We just deliver food. There was no system. There was no organization. Just a group of us. And we did this every single week. Just to go get food. Halal food. We make sure it's halal. Everybody can eat. And we give food to everyone. Halal, in fact, halal and vegetarian to everyone. And then that's how our Kichara Soup Kitchen formed. Our Kichara Soup Kitchen formed because I was very hungry when I was younger. And when I got older, I saw a lot of hungry people everywhere. So I just started feeding them. I mean, think carefully. If you see someone out there hungry and you're going to a restaurant, you just left the restaurant, you just went shopping at a supermarket, how could you drive by and not give them something? How could you drive by a dog that's so skinny on the street and starving? So where I go, I have my cars. In my cars, I have dog food packed all the time. Dog food, water, dispensers, wet and dry. So wherever I go, if I see a starving dog, if I can stop, it's not like in the middle of a highway, I will stop to feed the dogs. Or I have someone feed for me. Some dogs, they run away. And when you leave, they come back. Some dogs, they run away because they're so scared and beaten. But we have to try. So for years and years and years in Malaysia, wherever I go, I'm not a saint, but I don't like to see starving dogs or cats. We feed them. So, not caring makes your humanity meter go on empty. And the worst kind of care is more care for yourself and not care for others. What people say to me, you're hypersensitive. What people talk about yourself, what people criticize you, you're hypersensitive, you cannot take it. When you cannot take it and you're hypersensitive, the issue is not people criticizing you. The issue is something when you're growing up that hurt you very badly. You can't take criticism. So you need to stop running away from people, running away from criticism, running away from what people say about you. What you need to do is go deeper and say, what is it in me that makes me hypersensitive to this? And that's another thing in Buddhism. So what is Buddhism? Buddhism does believe in a higher power. That is a Buddha. What is a Buddha? A being who is free of hatred, free of selfishness, who has become a fully enlightened person. A Tathagata. Tathagata is a Sanskrit term for someone who's jumped over something. What does that mean? Jumped over all suffering. So, we believe in a higher power that's a Buddha, but we do not believe any higher power, Buddha or anyone, can change our mind or change our lives. We believe they can inspire us. For example, If we see someone like Reverend Cheng Fosu in Taiwan, that great nun, or we see someone like Mahatma Gandhi, who liberated his country from British imperial rule, not even with a gun, not even with a stick, through compassion, through tolerance, because he based his life on the Hindu religion of peace, ahimsa, of love, of tolerance, of forgiving your enemy. Isn't that eerily weird? Buddha says the same thing. Jesus says the same thing. So if we have one person can liberate his whole country from a powerful colonial establishment such as England through Hinduism, we know Hinduism is very good. If we practice it. So we know Buddhism is very good. We know Christian is very good. Look at Mother Teresa. People criticize Mother Teresa. Oh, she took the money. She's a liar. She converts people. Everybody gets criticism. But Mother Teresa is not a perfect person. She's not a god. She's a human being like you and me. I'm sure she makes mistakes. But I think the majority of her work benefited humanity. Where did that come from? That came from the Christian philosophy of giving. So we know Christianity is good one, if you practice it correctly. Then we also see Christians who are not very good. We also see Hindus that are not very good. And we see Buddhists that are horrible. Then we see Buddhists that are very good. We see Christians that are very good. So now we have to conclude, is it religion a person? Must be the person. So in that logical way, we can say all religion is good. Religion's only bad when you say ours is the best, yours is not good, so we put you down, you must follow ours. That's only bad for religion. If like that, better be atheist. Better be atheist, less fighting. One less trouble. That's how I think. They say, oh, how could you say that? Because you're using religion to harm other people. That's not the purpose of religion. So if we look carefully, in Buddhism, we don't believe that a higher power can change the world, can change our mind, or change us. We don't believe that. If that is true, how come the world hasn't changed? This has to be here, inside our minds. That's what we believe in Buddhism. So the purpose of chanting is to use sound energy. When you chant the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, you get into a reverberation, you get into a style, you get into a rhythm. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. When you get into that rhythm, you start your meditations and you contemplate. Today, did I get more good or more harm or neutral? Not judgment, examination. Oh, that I didn't do very well. That was very good. Oh, I'm very happy I did that. Oh, I should have done something. I didn't do that. Oh, I did that. That wasn't very good. So we meditate and we don't self-reproach. We don't go on a guilt trip. We go on a self-examination. Say that will bring benefit. That will bring benefit when we meditate. At the same time, when we recite the mantra, it moves the chi in our body. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. To push out the toxins, push out illness, push out negative energy, push out all the pollution, the emotional, spiritual, and secular pollution that's put in our minds. You have to be beautiful to be successful. You have to be rich to be happy. You have to be the best, the biggest, the most fabulous to be happy. We have to push all that up. So why do we chant mantras? We chant mantras to stabilize our mind, to stabilize our body, to push out the toxins. So through chanting, every day, systematically. Then through the study of Buddha's teachings, when you study Buddha's teachings, what happens? You're studying teachings on humanity. Then why can't you study teachings on humanities without Buddha? You can. I'm not saying that's the only way you can. There are very wonderful university courses on the humanities in the West, social issues that are very, very good. So what am I saying? Is Buddhism effective for some people? Is it effective for all? No. Why? Everybody has their own path. So if every religion says this, you don't have to be my religion to be a good person and to be saved. We'll have a much more balanced world. So remember, the reoccurring theme in Buddhism is not you have to accept my religion. You have to accept my God, my way. And If you don't, you go to hell. That doesn't happen. And then narrow it down. You have to join my temple, my church, not their church, not the neighbor. See, they're wrong, I'm right. This one is a reoccurring theme in Buddhism. That's why you have a history of 2,500 years of no war in the name of Buddha. Think about that. No war in the name of Buddha. Not one Buddhist has said, I'm fighting this for Buddha. I'm going to destroy your temple, your church, in the name of Buddha, because it's wrong. Because Buddhism teaches that.